All right, I think we're live. Let me plug in my hearing device so I can make sure I can hear everybody. My ears ain't like what they used to be. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, ollie, oxen free. Elay, are you there, girl? Can you hear me, child? Elay, are you present? Present. All right now. Now, I'm gonna assume, based off of the last video, that y'all can hear the music in the background. How you doing, Leah Land? How you doing, girl? Welcome in. It is exactly 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the glorious state of Georgia. Georgia. I tell you, it's really, really refreshing to have more females come over here, especially when I'm on the live. So it means a lot. Thank you so much. I was just telling my husband about this. It's like, man, it's just, where my girls at? So thank you for coming in. This is a bonus video. This morning I went on live at 5 a.m. and it was just a freestyle Thursdays. Now this video, I actually wanted to talk about it last week because that's when the story broke. This video actually, this particular video that I'm making a video response to came out 9 days ago. So I didn't have much time to get my notes together and get the thumbnail and stuff together. So I did part of the work last week, and now I'm going to be able to do the video response this week, which is today. And on that video, what is it? Elivation is a YouTuber where he goes in hard, just like Danny would stop. They do recaps and deep dive into the whole world of the Joe Budden Podcast saga. Well, in particular, the particular video from the Ellivation's channel where it was about Emanny. But what I liked about it, because this particular clip from the Joe Budden podcast was actually a serious one. It was where Emanny got corrected. They were chastising him. They were like correctively criticizing him. I think for me this year, now I don't watch every episode blow by blow, but I think that this has been the best Joe Budden podcast in reference to straight talk, trying to get their fellow brother on the right side of thinking, because it's like they can see a shipwreck that's coming. So I really thought this was good. I don't know if that particular podcast has been released in its full entirety from behind the paywall of Patreon, but like I said, they do, Danny with the stop and Emanny, they report back to us. And so the clip that I liked was the get it and out the mud section, hence why I called it getting it out the mud. And once again, I really want to say shouts out to Parks and all the crew trying to rally around their friend to help him see, like, bro, the way you're thinking is not cool. You gotta get your head out of that. And it really surprised me. So what I did out of curiosity, yeah, I have popcorn. So what I did out of overfilled the bowl. What I did out of curiosity was type in my question in reference to summarizing the whole thing that happened over there. Now, like I said, this video came out 9 days ago, and the first day it released, it was too soon for AI Overview to provide a decent summary. So it's been 9 days now. I typed in the same question. Why does Emanny on the Joe Budden podcast basically feel some type of way about people getting it out of the mud? So this time, AI Overview have provided a lot of information. Now, this is my first time going over it, so I'm going to be reading it to see what it has to say. But like I said, last week it was too soon for it to summarize it, but now that 9 days have passed, I have a long list of things, and I want to see what AI has to say. But nonetheless, they didn't agree with his statement of getting it out the mud. Emanny doesn't believe in that statement, and that's kind of weird because in all businesses, you have to start from the bottom. How else is anything going to get made? Heck, even that old parable, you know how they say don't build your house on sand because it surely enough will wash away. But even so, a house that's built on sand still starts with the foundation. Even though it's weak and stuff, it still starts with the foundation. So how could you not believe that? So nonetheless, I'm getting ready to read what AI Overview has to say. Let me see here. Let me get this in here. Thank you guys so much. Liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Hey, what's going on? Thank you for coming in. We have Emanny's argument against, quote, getting it out the mud. Stems from a belief. Come on, computer. Work with me. Stems from a belief that people should have a more strategic and supported approach to success, rather than relying on hardship alone. He suggests that relying on struggles to build a career can be limiting, and that a more direct path, often through existing connections and support systems, can be more beneficial and fulfilling. That sounds nice. And so does watching Disney princess fairy tales. And so do guys watching those documentaries on Sports Center, the men's Cinderella stories from basketball to NFL. Those things sure sound nice, but in the grand scheme of things, you have to get it out of the mud. The AI Overview continues. Alternative to hardship, Emanny argues against the idea that a career must be built on overcoming immense struggle. Quote, get it out the mud. Hey, y'all, thank you for coming in. Strategic approach. He suggests a more strategic approach to building a career, which can include leveraging existing connections and support systems rather than solely relying on a long and difficult journey through hardship. Now, don't nobody want to take the long, lonely road to nowhere because it's scary. And 9 times out of 10, there's not going to be a guidebook. There's not going to be a guidebook for that stuff. You stumbling and fumbling around without a flashlight. And if you do get a flashlight, it's dim or the battery's about to go out. Hey, y'all, thank you for coming in. So, yes. In addition, AI Overview has here fulfillment over struggle. The belief is that a career built on a supported strategic path can lead to a more fulfilling outcome than one built through slowly enduring difficult circumstances. Of course, anything is possible with Barbie, says the girl who has everything. Of course, anything is going to be possible. It's simple as A, B, C. Don't worry me. Yeah, Michael. Yeah, we know that. But we're talking about the regular people. Us. So started from the bottom, now we're here. Hey, started from the bottom, now we all here. Real world experience. This perspective is likely informed by his own career path. Which has included both a challenging music career and a more recent successful transition into media, where he now feels more confident and able to work his own way. That's what AI Overview provided. The last time, which was 9 days ago, when I checked for this same answer, AI Overview did not have this answer at all. But what it did provide was a list of his problem issues that he had upon being in dealings with the Joe Budden Podcast. So I don't know if this last issue that they had, you know how Ayanna like to say, well, I don't know if she say that or not, but nonetheless, it sounds like something she would say. Ayanna Van Zandt be like, he done had a come to Jesus moment. His friends tried to have a come to Jesus moment with him right on the podcast. And I don't know if they're going to give it some time to see if it works or not. But by way of AI Overview, bringing up the rap sheet of things that he's done unprofessionally in reference to the podcast itself, I'm not sure that this time, I'm wondering if this time, which was 9 days ago, if this may be his last time. So there's a deep dive overview on here. And I'm most certainly gonna see it. It's actually loading up. I'll give it time to load up. Okay, so the deep dive overview. Why does Emanny on the Joe Budden Podcast think people shouldn't get it out of the mud? It says Emanny's argument against the philosophy of getting it out of the mud on Joe Budden Podcast centers on the idea that glorifying struggle is unnecessary and unhealthy. Just like in these songs where people romanticize a toxic relationship, what is it called? Struggle love. I'm thinking he's classifying the whole thing of getting it out of the mud as something like that. But getting it out of the mud is a badge of honor. Struggle love is not a badge of honor. That's a terrible way to stay in something toxic and have it drain your energy. We are talking about getting it out of the mud. You know, working together as a unit. You seeing the dream and you building it and having it happen. I mean, goodness, the field of dreams. If you build it, they will come. That's basically the same thing of getting it out of the mud. That's the whole thing. So I don't know what went wrong for this type of concept to be warped so much to the point that it caused an abruption and flow into the podcast that day, so much to the point that Joe had to stop the podcast to cut him straight, and even Parks, who don't talk all the time, even had to come undone and be like a disciplinarian and say, yo, we don't tolerate that type of talk on here. And I was like, whoa. It was something on the lines of, he stopped him right in his tracks. Parks, the guy who don't talk all the time, he says, if you are really good at what you do and you go in front of people and do it, people will come. He said more stuff than that too, but it started off by him saying like, whoa. We're not going to tolerate that kind of talk over here. You know, good, well, none of my people and the people I flock with talk like that. You know, he just stopped him right there. We don't talk like that over here. And that was crazy because, I mean, I've never seen them actually react to something so serious in real time. So that made me, that was just different. Because they joke and banter a lot. And even when serious topics come along, like with real world situations, I haven't even seen them get that heated about it in the way that they care, you know? So that's wonderful. So in the deep dive overview, once again, Emanny's argument against the philosophies of, quote, getting it out of the mud on the Joe Budden Podcast centers on the idea that glorifying struggle is unnecessary and unhealthy. He advocates for seeking easier paths and leveraging help to achieve success more efficiently, challenging the traditional view that hardship builds character or is the only valid way to achieve success. Once again, it's like you get it out the mud. You don't have to do it all by yourself. That's why you ask for help. But nonetheless, you're asking, can you help me build this world? That's what the people say, like in Disney. Will you help me build this world? Oh, snap, you know, retraction. That was in 50 Goes West. Was it in 50 Goes West or 50 something America? The cat, he was like, will you help me build this world? And all the mice were like, yay. And y'all, he sold them a dream and they lapped it up. It was a cat on 50 Goes West, one of the 50's movies. 50 mouse go west, 50. Y'all, the cat sold the mouse a field of dreams by coming up with the song saying that there was no cats in America. Says the cat leading the charge, dressed up as a human in people clothes. He wore a top hat. He had a monocle on, and he talked real fancy, and he walked on 2 legs, not 4. So he had this whole costume on, and he was talking to these mice who lived in the city, and unfortunately, these mice were poor. And he was telling them about this dream. He was selling them a wolf ticket, and the song was like this. There are no cats in America, and the streets are paved with cheese. There are no cats in America, so set your mind at ease. I'm like, what in the world is going on? Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Well, the mice drank the Kool-Aid, left everything behind, abandoned all hope, all ye who entered. The mice left everybody behind, loaded up on the train, went to America and F around and found out that the master that was leading them to destiny, in fact, was a cat. And he had them building a gigantic mousetrap. Five Goes West is a sad cartoon, but it's really good. Now I'm saying I don't even know how I got on this topic, but I had to have gotten on that said topic for a reason. Get it out the mud, working together as a team, you know? But he don't believe in that. Here are some key aspects of Emanny's argument in reference to why he don't like or agree with the getting it out the mud hole situation. Rejection of a necessary struggle. Emanny argues that if an easier path or assistance is available, such as generational wealth, please close the congregational doors. Take a look around, brother. You black. What generational wealth? He already talking crazy. He talking out the side of his neck. We have to get it out the mud, bruh. So, okay, rejection of a necessary struggle. A necessary struggle, as I continue on, argues that if an easier path or assistance is available, such as generational wealth, mentorship, or networking, people should take it rather than deliberately choosing a difficult from nothing route. Now, who told you that? Shouts out to the Coming to America movie. Rest in peace, Mufasa, aka James Earl Jones, aka she's your queen to be Eddie Murphy Daddy in that movie. Who told you that? Who in their right mind choosing to take the hard way to get something done? I'm scratching my head. Of course, if there is an opportunity for mentorship and networking, meaning sound advice, wise consultation, not being surrounded by snakes who ready to stab you in your back, aka family, best friends allegedly, folks you go to church with. If you could just get some direction from the people who's supposed to be giving it out, I think we all would be in a better place. Put your hands in the sky if you ever ran into more than 5 people who you thought had your best interests in heart. You come and find out they was trying to sabotage you all this time. Or you like, no wonder I didn't get that job. You tell your best friend, girl, I'm going to get this job opportunity. I have a job interview lined up on such and such day. You wonder why you didn't get the job, or they didn't call you back when they told you behind closed doors that you got the job, but you gotta look the part minute, come on and let's do this interview so we can say we did it. But girl, you know you already got the job. And you wondering and calling back like, how come you didn't call me back? You said, I got the job. 2 weeks later, your friend got the job because she done went around behind your back and said some BS. And, that wasn't true and took your job. Those are examples of things like how they say you cannot tell everybody your dreams. So all I'm saying is, in reference to this rejection of a necessary struggle, Emanny argues that if an easier path or or assistance is available, such as generational wealth, mentorship, or networking, people should take it. Of course we should take it. For example, for myself, I was surrounded by a whole bunch of adults when I was a child who act like they knew everything and act like they had their ducks in a row. So when I grew up and became of age, I started asking questions so they can lead me in the way I should go. Come to find out, they all was stupid. Henceforth, I made a whole bunch of bad mistakes because I was shown the wrong way. Don't you think that the majority of us will take those opportunities if they came along? And what makes you think none of us have not? The thing is, we ask and we get the wrong advice. So that means we got to take time out, lick our wounds, heal up mentally, heal up physically. Then we done lost some time and we get back out there and try again. How many times you got to try again till you get real help? Help starts with you, but the help starts with you also knowing that you need some help. So if you cannot get past the part of finding honest help, you're going to be going in circles for quite a long time, draining down the clock of life as you're trying to find the help. People should take it rather than deliberately choosing a difficult from nothing route. Are any of you guys waking up in the morning talking about, I think I'm going to take the hard path through life because I want to get it out the mud? No, there's only one way to go, and that is through the muck and mire of life. Most of us have to walk through quicksand. That's our path. We don't have path paved in stone. You know, some of us have a grassy path. Some of our paths are lumpy. But the majority of us, our path is built on quicksand. So we constantly sink in the moment we touch down. So we got a whole bunch of other stuff to try to do while we get on something stable. And the first time we get our foot on something stable, it's broken glass and thorns and possible diseases. So now we got to deal with that. And for the ones who still trying to still push through it, we dang near running on empty. Come on now. So I can see why they got so upset. How y'all doing, guys? Thank you for coming in. Thank you for pressing the like. Oh, y'all appreciate it. Thank y'all for pressing the like, coming in, liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. As of now, have you guys seen that video where Emanny pretty much got wailed on by Parks and Joe Budden for they were correcting him about getting it out the mud? They did not like how he was talking. They did not like his approach, nor did they tolerate or allow him to continue to talk like that. And I'm going through the AI overview, reading what is summarized in reference to that. So I typed in AI overview. Why does Emanny on the Joe Budden Podcast think people shouldn't get it out of the mud? I'm down at the part for key aspects of his argument, which typically include, I'm going to focus on generational progress. His perspective often aligns with building generational wealth and making progress easier for the next generation. Don't we all want that? Deep down in our hearts and souls, that's what we all want. We all have this dream inside of us where we want to be something so great. And something so great don't mean a celebrity or a movie star. Some people want to wake up, go to school, and be in the culinary arts. Some people want to own their own, traveling makeup thingy. Some people want to be the best thing cashier at their favorite childhood store. But nonetheless, you wake up wanting that. Never in your wildest dreams do you think you're going to have to walk on a bed of glass just to get something so positive. And by the time you get to it, you look at yourself, you're all broken the F up. So it's about foundation. focuses on generational progress. His perspective often aligns with building generational wealth and making progress easier for the next generation, which contrasts to the get it out the mud mindset. That implies everyone must start from scratch. Look, most of us do have to start from scratch, fine, but don't come around me pouring cement into my mix intentionally to slow me down. And that's what a lot of us beautiful people are hindered with. And the sad reality of it, they may not find out too late. They might get accidentally molded into something they didn't even want to be. How are they gonna break out of that? So those are the things. Mental and emotional health. He suggests that constant need to overcome significant adversity can be a source of trauma and stress, and that a less stressful path can lead to better mental well-being and faster success. You don't say. In essence, Emanny's view is that while getting something out of the mud may offer a unique sense of self-gratification, and it does, it is not a prerequisite for success and can sometimes be a barrier to achieving one's goals efficiently. It's like he's only looking at this from one side of the card. Long gone, to my knowledge, are the days where people prided themselves in self-sabotage just to say they did this the long, hard way. That's talk from people born in 1950s on down. I have heard sad talk like that. I have heard it, but I didn't accept it because I'm scratching my head like, you have two choices, this way or that way. Why are you intentionally choosing that way, and it's going to take longer when we've set this path out for you to build you up, lift you up so you can get to where you need to be unscathed? We'll teach you about the pitfalls along the way so you don't have to ever experience it. We'll teach you the ins and outs and the whys and the nots. We're not going to just push you out there and say, oh, the best experience is experience. Not at the behest of you potentially losing your life or years from your life or potentially losing your mind. That's not hot, but I get it. So in my mind, as I think out loud, I think he's been a victim of a poor mindset from that sector because I've heard it too. I've been a victim of that when I was trying to go to school. I've heard people my parents' age tell me, you're smart, but you got to pay your dues. I'm like, how am I smart, wise beyond my years? So when I get an opportunity to go do something, you kind of pull me to the side and say, that's good and all, but you got to pay your dues. I'm like, why? When I'm doing everything right, unlike you guys may have done at your time, that's not my problem. I'm doing everything right. So you mean to tell me in order to go, before I can receive my opportunity based on good merit, I got to go run out here and act like a plumb fool, go to the school of hard knocks, and then waltz my way into college? That don't even make sense. But that made me feel some type of way. So I can only rest my hat on saying that this is an example of a toxic mental environment. So much so to the point that he's spreading that sick gospel on a nationwide podcast, blaring that out for the world to hear, which is why I think they really cut him to the quick. Who say cut him to the quick anymore? I know that's why they cut him to the quick, because it's like, you're not going to be blaring all those negative words out here, especially on this platform. How could you tell people that getting it out the mud is a badge of honor? Intentionally sabotaging your life or choosing to intentionally take the hard road just so you can say you did it is stupid. Live life long enough, no matter what type of road you are on, ritzy, artsy, fartsy, life gonna meet you head on in the way where you're going to have to F around to find out someday. Why speed up the process and have a F around to find out moment when it's not your time to F around to find out? That's why everybody has so many delays in life. What's going on, Chile? Thank you for coming in. I'm just scratching my head and going in circles. So, I agree with all three of them on how they responded to this. And I don't know. Thank you so much. I don't even know how they made it through that podcast, because I feel the same way too. It's just so sad because I've experienced the toxic mindset like that. And one day you can wake up and be so lost in the sauce of sad thinking, you look up one day and you regurgitating the same crap out of your mouth that you were trying so hard to fight against, but you were fighting it on your own because every ignorant person in your life at that time who was supposed to have a positive impression on you was spewing hate, discord, shade, has some type of ulterior motive because of something your mama did in the past, and they're taking it out on you. He is an example of that. So heaven help him if getting publicly corrected on the Joe Budden podcast across the world isn't gonna help him. Y'all gonna have to let him go. That's scary. That's very scary. Words do have power, and that's what they were trying to emphasize. So I don't know how in the H that even happened. Getting it out the mud, y'all, is a badge of honor. Do y'all think so? Boy, having the opportunity. What opportunity? I'll wait. This might turn to another 6-hour live stream till I wait for an answer. Let me look at my notes and see where I'm at. So I don't run to... Hey, I'm on a tight schedule, and I like having a tight schedule. So let me look through my notes to skip to my Lou and get on to the next one. Given the opportunity. So the video clip opens up with this whole given the opportunity situation. I want to look up given the opportunity because I hear that all the time. Even to this day, I don't hear it as much as I used to, but I've heard it a lot in my upbringing around the times from my parents' time when they thought you had to pay your dues. Oh, you just got that too easy. Here, let me break your leg. Learn you something, slow you down because you got to pay your dues. To me, that sounds like low-key shade and hate and disdain because you got where I wanted to be way quicker with no bumps and bruises. So ain't no way in H you gonna get it that easy. If I couldn't get it that easy, you ain't finna to effing get it that easy. So they'll hurt you or self-sabotage you or trick you out of your bag or trick you out of your blessing. And this is what's happening. That's what's been displayed on Joe Budden Podcast. Now, this happened 9 days ago. I don't know what have arrived to this point. When I get some time, I'll scour the YouTube streets to see what's going on. I don't know if they're going to give him some time off. I don't know if he's going to get fired. I don't know what's going to happen. But it's crazy. So let me type in given the opportunity. What does the phrase given the opportunity. Y'all done spell opportunity wrong, but I'm still standing. Yeah. Given the opportunity. OPPORTUNITY. You get it out the mud. I've been on YouTube over 10 years, and I'm still a struggle streamer. That's what the majority of YouTubers would definitely call me. Hey, I know where I'm at. I've been on here over 10 years. less than 6K, not monetized. Oh, yes, I'm a struggle streamer, but you don't see me quitting. Yeah, I wish I would have been done got it. And the beat goes on, boom, boom, da 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 da. Eminem, what's going on, Chile? But all I'm saying is, I'm not using that as a reason to be like, woe is me, I'm just gonna quit. It really ain't meant for me. I'm not gonna use the fact that what I think should be happening as an excuse to stop. I'm not going to use what I think I should have gotten. Like, hear what I'm saying? I'm not going to use what I think I should have gotten already as a crutch, because who's to say it's probably just not time. And that's the key right there. You cannot get lost in the sauce of I should be getting. You have to examine it for what it is. It may not be time yet, but in the time of, and at the time of waiting for, quote, your ship to come in, you still have to be working it out, tweaking things, growing with it, growing through it, not discouraging people, encouraging people, showing them the way with what you learned for the time being. And this is a lot of the test here where a lot of people do fall off. I think it's like a sifting, an intentional sifting. You are so close to what you want to get, but then you get in your own way by talking about, I should have did this, or I should have been there already. Says who? Yes, society puts us on this timeline of what we should be doing, but that's just the timeline. It's not for everybody to follow. It's just something to keep you gauged. It's just something to keep you gauged. But it's not an end-all, be-all. So you have to keep going. So I put here, given the opportunity. Let me see. What does the phrase given the opportunity mean? So I'm waiting for that. What is the phrase given the opportunity? Shouts out to AI Overview. What's going on, Chile? Thank you. The phrase given the opportunity means being offered a chance or possibility to do something. It describes a situation where someone receives a favorable time or occasion to act, often to achieve a goal, learn something new, or advance their career. It implies that the person was not previously able to do something and is now being provided with the chance. Wouldn't it be nice if we all could be provided with the chance? It's all right to put that on your vision board, because it helps you work backwards like the true director and be like, if I were given this opportunity, what would I do with that opportunity? It helps you lay out a roadmap of preparedness. So that's a good thing, right? If given the opportunity to pursue your dream, whatever it is, fashion line, owning the movie theater, writing a book, daycare, being the chef, it helps keeps the juices flowing in your heart, so you can keep moving forward in a good way. So once again, the phrase given the opportunity means being offered a chance or possibility to do something. It describes a situation where someone receives a favorable time or occasion to act, often to achieve a goal, learn something new, or advance their career. It implies that the person was not previously able to do something and is now provided with the chance to. It would be nice if given the opportunity. So having said that, guys, if given the opportunity to actually do that one thing you wanted to do you even have it written down on paper or in your heart, so when and if that opportunity comes, you can just do it? Or are you going to fumble the bag because you didn't think enough to cherish yourself and cultivate your vision, to write it down and think it out and hold on to it for all the years, so when that happened, Example, she was given the opportunity to manage a daycare center. This means she was granted the chance or was allowed to take on the role of manager. That is an example that AI overview provided far as given an opportunity. It's got active versus passive. Saying she was given the opportunity is a passive construction. All right, passive construction. An active way to say this would be the company offered her the opportunity. Context. The phrase can be used in many contexts, from a promotion at work to a once in a lifetime chance to travel. Okay? Alternatives. Other ways to express this idea includes afforded the chance. It's the same thing. If given the opportunity, someday, one day, if I didn't care, if I didn't care. What movie was that from? Moving forward. So it all means the same thing. So I don't need to go into deep dive of all that, but I want to make sure I touch on all things, because it's so sad to see people who get lost in the sauce of this toxic school of thoughts, and you turn around and you find out you a grown person and the bad thoughts done got stuck to you and you don't even realize it. That's what's happening. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much for coming in. Welcome into my bonus video. It's a reaction video to the Ellivation and Joe Budden Podcast. I have some notes here. I talked about getting it out the mud, given the opportunity, talking about what that means. And then the summary of the whole thing is, just because it did not happen for you or did not happen yet for you does not mean it will yield the same results for the next person standing or sitting next to you. It saddens me to look back over my life and see all the adults in my time when I was a teen growing up, and their sad thought processes that molded me into making wrong decisions. Now, I don't give them all the blame, but what I'm saying is, if you're not cautious of the company you keep and constantly being diligent in your mind, you're going to wake up one day and be uttering stuff just like Emanny is, spewing toxic words all over the world. And that's not what they want. That's not what that platform is about in that way. Let me see right here. I went to the video. The video was in the description if you guys want to hear the whole rant about the whole getting it out of the mud situation. So I'm like, oh my gosh, it's sad. It's just a reflection of all that. No, I'm not doing that. And so let me see here. Summarize the video. So the video is here. There's a link below. Let me see. Just one moment. Just 1 second. There we go. And the next thing I'm going to put in here, please stand by, y'all. Let me put that in there. Yeah, just a minute, y'all. I gotta do a little light work over here. So in the description, I have the link to the Elivation video. Here's the link to the video I am responding to or reacting to. The name of the video is called Enough is Enough. Apologies for this Joe Budden like incoming rant. So I'm going to summarize the video so I could kind of refresh what it's saying. But y'all, I am so sorry for those of you who have been surrounded by toxic upbringing. I hope this video finds you, and it finds the people who don't even realize that they are around a toxic environment like that, so that it can make you guys aware so you can start moving accordingly. So it says here, in the description for said video I'm making a video response to, the speaker expresses frustration with Emanny, a co-host on the JBP Patreon, for his negative outlook on opportunities and success. The speaker argues that Emanny it argues that despite his own successful event in Patreon shows insecurities and a contrarian mindset. This contrarianism, according to the speaker, arises from lack of original thought, causing Emanny to take an opposing view merely to sustain conversation. Now, if you are trying to keep a conversation going just to fill the room with noise, it's best to fill the room with a positive sound, right? Not anything negative, because you'll be feeding the monster, and that's not the type of monster you want to be feeding. You don't want to be feeding a monster at all. The speaker strongly disagrees with Emanny's notion that people cannot achieve success or, quote, get it out the mud without external assistance or by comparing themselves to established artists like Daniel Caesar. He emphasizes that the consistency and hard work are crucial for success, regardless of subscriber numbers, and that fostering a community can lead to organic growth. The speaker uses his own journey and Joe Budden as examples from starting from humble beginnings. There is nothing wrong with starting from humble beginnings. I'm still struggling through reading the Stephen King book, but man, my husband was right by my side helping me get started to reading it. I'm a lot further than when I started. I'm almost halfway through the book now. It was hard for me to get back into reading because I was being distracted all the time. But look at this. Had it not been for him helping me, I wouldn't have even opened the book. So it's just about getting it from the mud in all aspects. Realizing I needed some help to get motivated to get going again reading. Had I not realized that and been honest with myself, I wouldn't have reached out and got some help. He gave me the help, and now I'm reading this book. That's how things go. People help people, and I just hope when you ask for help, they're not intentionally trying to steer you in the wrong direction because they think it's funny, or they think you should learn it the hard way and come check back in with me after you done bumped your head. That's cruel. That's rude, and that's wrong. Hey, y'all, thank you so much for coming in, y'all. Thank you so much for the likes. You guys are really, y'all doing y'all big one today. Thank you so much. In the second paragraph of the summary, it says a key point of the contention is Emanny's belief that his success is solely due to his appearance on the Joe Budden Podcast rather than on his own contribution. The speaker highlights that Emanny's Patreon numbers surpass Mark Lamont Hill's, even for non-JB Joe Budden content, providing Emanny's independent worth. The speaker also mentions that Joe Budden had to advise Emanny to increase his Patreon prices, suggesting that Emanny undervalues his own work. The speaker concludes by urging Emanny to acknowledge his own contributions and abandon his woe is me attitude. They don't tolerate that over there. He asserts that anyone can achieve success in their field if they believe in themselves and exert effort. It's as simple as that. Hey, y'all, thank you for coming in. So those are my notes. And I thought at the beginning, the opening of the clip, let me see here. Let me put it on. Let me make sure it's on mute. Let me play it. So let me see here. We're talking about, let me rewind it and read the caption. So what I'm going to do now is I'm setting up the video with that I'm responding to. That link to said video I'm reacting to is in the description box below. I'm going to read the citations of what the video says to really bring it on home and wrap this up. All right? Hang on. Let me start here. Let me get it set up. Oh, come on now. Get out of the way, window. I know that's right, girl. I want to rewind to the beginning and let me see if I can start it. Let me rewind it. Just a sec, y'all. Now I can see. I had to make the window bigger. We're talking about regular Joe Blow with the microphone going to Sam Ash. Name a Joe Blow and name the amount of times Joe Blow knows that. How many times do you know of said Joe Blow to be able to walk out successfully and get it out of the mud? Not many opportunities are given to people like that. He's saying that it's a rare thing. And then Joe said, waiting for somebody to give you an opportunity is not cool, and he don't talk to people like that. You keep talking about giving the opportunity, and I'm talking about talented people creating opportunities, and that's how the video leads in. It's one thing to acknowledge that some people may have things more accessible to them to make it a reality. There's another thing to realize where you stand in this game of life and to believe in yourself and go out there and do it. That's all that they were saying. And I wish that, but maybe it did happen. I wish that the people, well, I should say people my mom's age, I wish their parents saw things from the other side of the coin. They're looking down the same tunnel, but they're seeing different images. And the image that they choose to gravitate to is the negative one. And all that stuff spilled on to the next generation. And it's still happening today. And they're trying to prevent that from spilling off into right now. We don't need that. So getting it out the mud is having a dream, having a vision, having a goal for things that you want, and having it embedded into your heart so tough. So when the seas of life get to wailing and being a storm, you know, the storms of life will definitely come, and it's not fair, you know. You'll have that vision so embedded into your heart that when the storms come, you won't lose sight of where you're trying to get to, if that makes any sense. Once the storm clears, you still have the vision right here. So once you set foot on dry land, or if you still just like living on the sea, once you hit cool waters, you'll be able to start moving towards that said dream. I don't know why it seems to me that most people think life is supposed to be easy. Oh, because it is. But as of now, it's quite difficult. It's okay to acknowledge that, but don't give up on yourself. And don't wait around sitting on your hands expecting someone to hand things out to you. Yes, it would be nice like a Disney fairy tale. Who wouldn't want that? But I'm going to close by saying this. If given the opportunity, if someone were to invest in you and your personal dream that you wanted to do, would you be even ready to accept it? Have you written out a plan, or is it etched in your heart of what you would do? I want to do this. I want to do that. Boom, boom, boom. Would you even be ready, or would you fumble the bag? My name is Elay, pronounced like LA, like the city. I'm not from there, but I'm breezy. Thank you so much for coming in, liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. And before I go, I'm going to read the poll. You guys did good. Let me see what my cool peeps said. Do you guys and gals watch/listen to the Joe Budden Podcast? 29% said yes, including myself. 71% says no. So welcome to the 71% who said no, because now you have heard about it. And no other way to introduce you guys to this but on a good foundational episode where it can actually help people. I'm very happy with that particular episode, and I'm glad they got into his behind and try to knock some sense into him, because this video can be shared not only to family and friends. This video can be shared everywhere. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. My name is Elay, pronounced like LA, like the city on the front there, but I'm breezy. Another life lesson that we all could be gently reminded of, and that's to believe in yourself. And I am so sorry for the ones who have been surrounded by negative people, intentionally planting seeds of doubts in your life. I'm very, very sorry, but it's not too late. See y'all next video. Thank you for coming in. Bye.